Hey, what is going on, everybody? In today's video, we are going to be doing a very special video. We're going to be doing a comparison between the new Bluestacks 5 and other Android emulators on the market, such as LD Player and Nox, and really just highlighting how much better Bluestacks 5 performs against those other competitors, especially when it comes to RAM or memory usage and overall game performance. I've been playing Marvel Strike Force for about 3 years now, and for a large portion of this, I have been using Bluestacks for some time. And for those of you who do play MSF, I'm pretty sure that you're aware, to some degree, about Bluestacks' success, but knowing there is a more lightweight version in the form of Bluestacks 5 is quite exciting. So to start off, we are going to be opening up the Bluestacks Multi-Instance Manager, which, if you're unfamiliar with this feature, in most emulators, it allows you to open up basically multiple copies of the same emulator to play multiple accounts for a game if you so wish. So there is a feature here on the side here, Multi-Instance Manager. We're going to be opening this up, opening up my second instance, so we can take a good look at how much resources this is actually consuming. So let's minimize this window actually so we can kind of fit more than one screen here at a time. Maybe try and squeeze this out here. Let's move it over to here. We have to kind of do this here a bit and shrink the window so we can have at least both of them on the screen at the same time. I'll try and put this into the corner here. I know it's not perfect, but anyway, so we can open up multiple copies of Marvel Strike Force, and that's really good. But I do have 2 accounts for the game, and I know that for most of you playing Marvel Strike Force, having more than one account is a bit of a struggle. But if you do happen to have more than one account, then you can use this feature to do this. And as you see in the corner, Bluestacks 1 actually is cut off a little bit. I can drag it down a bit. It says Bluestacks 1 up here, and then over here on this one it says Bluestacks 2. That's the way you can kind of differentiate between the two. And what's really important to see, and what I wanted to showcase in this video, is sort of how much resources they actually consume when you're using this. So a good way to take an idea of that is by opening up your task manager. So that's through this here, and then we can kind of see as it starts to stabilize a little bit. Once we get into the game, the CPU portion of this will stabilize. We can kind of take an idea, get a look at an idea of how much memory this is actually consuming. So right now, the Bluestacks players are roughly about 130, 135 megs of memory of my total, I guess, my total computer here. And so this is really interesting to see. So I have 2 different accounts running here on Bluestacks here for Marvel Strike Force, and it runs actually pretty smoothly as far as emulators go. So I really like this about Bluestacks 5. I have been using Bluestacks for at least 2 years now, and so there's a good have both my accounts running here, and actually it really doesn't kind of, I can do it all simultaneously. The amount of there's no slowdown whatsoever when you're running this, and as you can see, as it stabilizes out, the CPU usage actually isn't that bad. I know I don't have the biggest top-end CPU, but really it only takes about 4 to 5% on each of the instances here, and even my OBS right now, which is what I'm using for recording, takes almost more than that. So to put that into perspective, and yeah, the memory seems to be stable right around about 140, 150 megs per instance. So if I had multiple accounts for Marvel Strike Force, I could be running more than one, more than 2 really if I want to, but it's very challenging to do for this game. But we can play through this, and we can kind of cycle through the characters, and it doesn't really lag at all. The performance is very, very good. We can even run a few game modes as a test if you want here, and we can do this simultaneously here. Now, normally I don't play 2 instances of Marvel Strike Force simultaneously, but hey, if you're a very good multitasker, then hey, you can do that. So let's just go into battle here really quickly, and we can kind of just showcase this a little bit here before we go on to the next sort of phase, which will be looking at the other emulators, the other Android emulators, LD Player and Nox, and we can kind of compare, having one instance of each, and how different it is on the memory usage, which is really important. So let's just go in here, and I'm just going to stick on auto here, but you can kind of see on both screens here how it's running, and I'll just bump this up to 2 times because most of us play this on 2 times mode difficulty anyways. There we go. So I'm just trying to make sure that we can see on both of the screens here. And, it looks and runs fairly well. And that's a really good thing about this, which I really enjoy. So you can see here that we have both of them running, both the games running. Again, not that I really do this. This takes some crazy multi-skilling. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But yeah, you can see as it runs here, the graphics are very good, very solid. The performance is very nice. It doesn't really spike that much in terms of CPU and memory usage, so very, very solid. But when you compare this against the other Androids on the market, Bluestacks definitely is #1 in this category. So I just kind of wanted to show off some of the gameplay here with Bluestacks 5. This is the newer version of Bluestacks, and it runs really well. So as a multi-instance manager feature, this is really nice here. So if you do happen to want to run more than one, you can have as many as you want, really. But realistically, for Marvel Strike Force, you probably wouldn't run more than 2. But it is there in case you are interested in that feature. Not only that, they have like this this new, where is it? They have quite a few other features. You can trim your memory too. So if you feel that, you need to free up some memory usage as well, you can click that button. You can change your game controls. You can set it to whatever you want. And it gives you a nice way to play, from your own computer, to play on all the mobile games that you might play are all available on Bluestacks because of all the huge library that they have with all of their games. So I just wanted to showcase some of this gameplay here. Let's go on, though, to check on the differences between Bluestacks and some of the other emulators. So here we are. Now, in this instance, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running Bluestacks 5, and we're going to be running LD Player simultaneously, side by side here, or corner by corner. But already, just in the sort of the main window here, what you can kind of see here is that the resource usage and the memory usage for LD Player is quite significantly higher than Bluestacks. So just at the base screen here for Bluestacks, it's about 65 megs of memory. But as you see here, we have 2 instances of LD Player, so it actually comes up as DN Player. This is the main instance here for LD Player, but it's also this virtual box headless front, which I'll kind of scroll up here. It's kind of a bit hard to see, but it does. This is 265 megs of memory, this virtual box headless front end, and that's what's used for LD Player on top of the DN Player EXE. So combined, that's about 300 megs of memory, which Bluestacks is only running about 65 at this point. So that's really important to note as well. But let's jump in and kind of load up both simultaneously, and we'll see once we get into the game again. And I think I have the right accounts running for this, because I'm running both of my accounts simultaneously, but on different platforms here. We'll see once we get into the game, the differences really in the memory. And I will say that when it comes to crashing, which occasionally happens in Marvel Strike Force, this happens a lot more on other emulators than it does on Bluestacks. So LD Player and Nox, they both kind of have a little bit of, I guess, emulator instability at times, which is really bad for a game like Marvel Strike Force. You don't want your game to crash, and so this does happen on occasion from the playtest that I've done on these other emulators, where I never really saw it happen on Bluestacks. So that is also another interesting comparison, I think, as well. But as we get in here to we can see how the memory starts to go up a bit. Again, the virtual box headless front head, I think my head's in the way a little bit here, but you can see how it's about 440 megs now that we're actually in the game. Bluestacks is about 130. So comparative, and that's not even including the DN Player down here, so that's 50 plus this 430. That's like 480 megs versus Bluestacks 130. So that's a crazy difference. LD Player already is consuming about 3 times as much RAM as in memory as it is for Bluestacks. So that's just really bonkers. And I forgot I'm on actually my what is this? My basic account here. This is the tutorial stuff. So I might not be able to show. I might be able to go into a gameplay here actually, but we've already seen what it looks like on Bluestacks over here, so I'm not too concerned about that. But what I am concerned about is sort of this is the tutorial stuff, so this might be a bit wonky here. But we can go into the game, and we can kind of showcase this a little bit. But from a graphical perspective, I still find that Bluestacks is also much superior on this front. And, there really isn't a lot of problems when it comes to playing it for, whether it's Marvel Strike Force or another game entirely. But, we are talking about MSF here. Anyways, so here, I mean, we can put on the same thing. But if you did put them side by side, it's kind of hard to kind of see, and I can do this again with another Blitz match here on Bluestacks, but it's kind of hard to see when you're watching it on recording here, the differences in the actual graphics. But rest assured that it is actually better on Bluestacks as well, and you won't have to worry about potential game crashing either. But the memory issue is what I really kind of want to kind of show you guys, because really that makes a huge difference. And I'm just going to stick this in auto as well on Bluestacks. But the fact that they're using almost triple the amount of memory for rather than Bluestacks is crazy. So 3 times more for LD Player than it is for Bluestacks, and that enough, depending on how much memory you have on your computer, this could be a severe issue as well. So that's just with one instance. You could be running 3 instances of Bluestacks for 1 instance of LD Player. So that just already shows kind of how much RAM and memory that LD Player takes and how consumptive it is on your computer resources. So I just wanted to showcase that there. Let's jump on over. I want to compare Bluestacks with Nox now, though. Alright, so here we are again. This is with Nox Player open up alongside Bluestacks. And once again, if you see here in my task manager that the resources consumed, especially on the memory front for Nox Player, is already ahead of Bluestacks by about 50-60 megs. And that's just in this base sort of lobby area here before we've even launched Marvel Strike Force. So we're looking at about 140 on Nox versus about 85 on Bluestacks, just in this lobby area here. Now, it is a little bit better than LD Player in that regard, but still, you can see how Bluestacks is way superior on, compared to both of these emulators. So let's launch it up. Again, a lot of the emulators do have similar features in this sense, but Bluestacks just seems to manage it so much better. So when it comes to your own computer resources, Bluestacks can do everything the other ones can do, but just a lot easier, and you can just run it so much easier. And if you see how in the task manager, as soon as I opened up the game, actually, Nox jumped all the way up to about 300 megs, and Bluestacks is still sitting at about 119 here, 120. So realistically, Bluestacks in every instance has had, at least 50% less memory usage on this, which is really important. Even the CPU really spikes on Nox compared to Bluestacks. So yeah, I mean, we can do the same sort of gameplay testing here again. Nox actually, I think, might be a little bit better on the resource usage than LD Player, but again, comparatively, Bluestacks just does it so much better. So I'm not sure, do I have to go through the tutorial again? This is the same account that I brought up on LD Player. It's making me click on things again, unlike my Bluestacks account. So my apologies, guys, here. But you can kind of see as I go through this a little bit with the sort of the interface here. Hopefully I can get back into some battle here. Let's see if we can actually just get a battle, and I'll just showcase that really quick. Alright, so I was finally able to actually just get back into the game here for Marvel Strike Force, and so I just wanted to load this up again. And once again, I'll have one of my other battles on Bluestacks side by side, so you can kind of see this. Again, just Bluestacks does everything that the other competitors can do, but they just do it that much better. And game resources is really important. It's really important to be able to run your game well, but it also means that your game's not going to crash. You're not going to run into memory leak problems that you can already see here. Nox, again, with the task manager sitting at 400 megs, it's pretty huge compared to Bluestacks, which is pretty stable at about 150, 160. So it's almost more than 50%. I haven't done the math here. I think that's like 60 to 65% comparatively here than Nox Player. So, and there is a little bit more lag on Nox Player than Bluestacks does get as well. So again, I can't stress this enough. If you really want a good emulator for Android, then Bluestacks is it. Comparatively to all the others out there, it's just that there's nothing better than Bluestacks. And I know it sounds like I'm just tooting my own horn here about Bluestacks, but it really is true. You know, I've been using this for at least 2 years now to do my content creation, but also just to play the game from home. So this is really important if you want to, you know, do this from the comfort of your own home, from the comfort of your own computer, you know, then Bluestacks as an Android emulator really is the top one on the market, guys. So, hey, what can I say? You know, please do pick up Bluestacks. I think it's really worth your time, and if that's something you want to switch to for PC gaming of mobile, I know that sounds weird, PC gaming for mobile gaming, then, you know, I definitely recommend you guys to check out Bluestacks. So I hope that this helps, guys, to kind of just compare what I think is the main differences between Bluestacks and the other competitors out there. Definitely Bluestacks comes out on top. So as always, guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylan signing out.